Hello everybody and welcome back to our channel, or if you're new here, I'm Laura.
And I'm Ryan, and we are Disney Pin Love.
Alright, so what are we doing today?
Well, this is something that I've really been looking forward to, and we are going to try to do a bit of just a comparison, nothing too official, just for fun, but thinking back on our trips this past summer of 2023. So we were fortunate enough to get to go to Disneyland in July. We had 4 park days. We did both Disneyland and DCA. And then we had 7 park days in Walt Disney World in August.
Yeah, we did.
So it was a pretty good basis of comparison, I'd say, because we got to spend some time in both parks, both in the summer months, and it's still pretty fresh in our memory.
Yeah.
And this is not like necessarily like picking a favorite. I think it's an impossible question, but we thought we'd break it down into some categories, go through our list here, which we have typed up, try to keep us on track, and
do a little comparison.
Yeah, share our impressions.
Yeah.
Before we get into it though, I will just say stay tuned to the end because we've got advent calendar pins from Magic Launch Bay.
Yeah.
So the first category is characters. And I think this is probably yours to speak on.
So I guess, Disneyland, if you've never been, they have random characters all over the place. Like, just roaming around, standing on Buena Vista Street in DCA, like kind of scattered all the way, the whole way.
Yeah.
And that was just really cool. Because in Walt Disney World, it is a little bit more rigid. You know, Mirabelle's here, and she's here at this time, and
stand in this line.
They have their places. I guess in DCA and Disneyland, they had times if you were to check the app. I think, I think they
some definitely did that are I think more known to be put into a spot, but at both parks in California, I would say definitely there were roamers too, and some of those for sure would have been a bonus, like it wouldn't have been in the app.
Yeah, and I guess so from our notes, the downfall of roaming characters is that there is not a line, and I guess it happened kind of once where we waited in line and then it was goofy.
Informal line.
We waited in the informal line and it was goofy, and they just kind of came up to a person and they said, "Sorry folks, anybody from this way forward, pull out your cameras really quick and you can just do a selfie." So you didn't really get, it was more rushed. So that only happened, I think, maybe once with Goofy and maybe once with Mickey. We were warned ahead of time, but then they do just come back out. So you for most of them we found
But there were definitely some that it seemed completely random. We got to see Cinderella doing a wishing well ceremony. It just ran across Mad Hatter and Alice at one point.
Yeah.
So
Merida, Captain Hook, lots of random.
You had I don't think it could have been a better picture, even if it was posed or a line or a photo pass, but you and Tiana, I'm thinking of, was an excellent one at Disneyland.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. One final thought on the characters, just if you're having a hard time understanding what we're meaning and you're a WDW person, it's Galaxy's Edge, how the characters are in Galaxy's Edge, but it's that all through California, just sort of wandering, roaming.
Yeah.
So another category that I think really belongs to you, surprisingly almost, I don't have much to say on it, but it is food.
So this one's very simple. All I have to say, Disneyland, Walt Disney World, they have similar things. The churros, some people say churros are better in Disneyland. I don't know. I didn't really find a difference, but Disneyland has churro toffee, and that was the bomb. So they don't have that in Walt Disney World yet. I'm sure maybe sometime it will come there, but it is so good. So that's pretty much it. Otherwise, restaurants and quick serve, we found to be very similar.
Yep.
I would say.
Clarabelle's ice cream in DC.
Yeah.
Plenty of ice cream, plenty of delicious ice cream in Walt Disney World. I had Beaches and Cream
Yeah.
this summer, and it was fantastic. But it was cool for me being a Clarabelle fan to get to try her ice cream and randomly meet her.
Yes.
That day too, I remember. So we're gonna jump right into our third category, and so we ask that you come along for the ride.
Rides.
This one we can do more rapid fire, and I think we'll just take some turns. And this one is where we'll actually pick a favorite for somewhere they're duplicated, or just some really cool standout ones in general.
From the list, we're picking faves. So the first ride we will talk about is Winnie the Pooh at Disneyland. It is better. So the ride vehicle, I guess, like is a little bit different. But anyways, the whole thing is like you're slowly just like moving, but like it's not a sick, like it's not like, oh god, I'm gonna puke kind of moving, but like it's just like a really soothing like kind of motion like through, like you almost feel like you're slowly bouncing along with Tigger.
Yeah, in slow motion compared to Disney World where it's just like, sort of static, but then you have the one bouncing scene where it's like pretty intense.
Yeah. So it's better at Disneyland. In my opinion. These are all just our opinions.
Another one that is not opinion-based, but is just objectively better at Disneyland, it's Pirates.
It's so much better. It's so long.
Yeah.
Like it's
the first few scenes ride. Too, like when you at Disney World, where you drop into the boat is very early on in the ride, and they're firing the cannonballs. That's like, you've already spend half your time on the ride in Disneyland before you even get to that scene. And it's just a great first half, a much better introduction.
Yeah. And then the next one that is better for one reason is Small World. So it is better at Disneyland because they have the character dolls. So there is, for example, there is Ariel, there is Stitch. There might be Stitch in Disney World, so that's a bad example. But anyways, you've got Woody, there's all sorts of princesses, and I think that's really cool. So if you have actually the little golden book, Small World, it has like the characters as the dolls, and that's pretty much what you see in Disneyland. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And the facade.
Yes, that is a lot better. That's very nice.
Even though we did get stuck on it in Disneyland for about 40 minutes, and that was torture.
That was tragic. It was really bad. And we were hungry too, so that didn't help. If we weren't hungry, I think we could have just like taken it, but like it was like, get me off of this.
Okay, so the next one, now this is, there's not a direct comparison, but like the ride vehicle sort of mechanism. So you have Test Track at Epcot. On the East Coast, you have Radiator Springs Racers in DCA on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Radiator Springs is incredible. I like Test Track. I preferred older Test Track where it was the, going through the queue was like you were in the assembly line. So I still like Test Track, but like I almost cried on Radiator Springs Racers just for how amazing and beautiful it was. You start with like a slow sort of cruise, like it's intentionally slow. You see the waterfall. It was just like such an experience.
Yeah.
Then you're inside and it's great. And then the end, unlike Test Track where you just do the one lap, like there's left turns, there's right turns, there's hills.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible.
Yeah, really good ride. So I think we managed to do that twice.
Yes.
One time we paid for it, individual lightning lane, and then the other time we just did single rider. And that took quite a while because it did break down in the middle, so we waited quite a bit, but it was worth it.
100%. Now, the next one, does anyone know what Laura is going to say? So, again, the comparison, you have Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom, you have Indiana Jones at Disneyland.
Indiana Jones is the best ride. Like, I guess it compares to Dinosaur in that it's kind of the same ride vehicle, but Indiana Jones is 1,000% better. The scenes are amazing, like, just so many good elements. And the ride vehicle has a steering wheel, which is cool, because then at one of our videos, Ryan was driving the car. Not actually, but anyway. So Indiana Jones is just such a good ride. Like even the queue to get in and inside the pyramid, I guess. Really cool. Really good ride.
Yeah. Love that one.
Worth the trip to Disneyland.
So now we're going off script, but I feel sort of bad that we've named so many that are, I think each one of these so far we've picked Disneyland as the favorite. I'm not trying to really imply anything by that. I'll say Jungle Cruise is one that we've both talked about. That's better at Walt Disney World. It has the whole indoor section. What other classic ones? Big Thunder Mountain. I prefer it at Disneyland, just because you get to see tortoises and stuff as you're climbing the hill sort of early on, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and I don't know, there's a lot of similarities too, but I guess that particular category, we focused on the differences, and it all just happens that these differences make it better at Disneyland, but
I like Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom more too. That might be controversial for some, but I just prefer the single ride vehicle because you're not coming on it with me, and
I am not.
And just there's so many different rides at each too that you can't do this kind of comparison, but yeah, thanks for indulging us. So moving on to our next category, just is comparing, or just talking about some of the lands.
Yeah, that's kind of random, but I guess I don't know what to say, but Cars Land is amazing. There's no comparison at Disney World that kind of is. Well, I mean, Galaxy's Edge is super immersive on both coasts, but Cars Land is really immersive, but there's no other land in Disney World that's as immersive as Cars Land. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah,
Cars Land is amazing. In my notes
sense.
it says bring that shit to WDW.
And then another one that you really love.
Yeah.
Toontown.
Toontown's cute. So, I mean, you walk in there and you're just overrun by babies and strollers and children, but it's so cute. It's so colorful. Mickey and Minnie's houses are adorable, where you can actually meet them and you can see inside of their houses, which is so cute. Yeah, so I love Toontown. And again, there's no comparison, no land that compares to Toontown in Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Maybe there used to be?
There used to be.
Yeah.
I have the pictures to prove it.
Okay.
Me as a kid, meeting Mickey on the porch. That was for sure in Florida. So, yeah. Otherwise, just thinking about not just the lands, I guess we can transition to our next category, which is parks. Parks. Walk in the park, this will be. So one that's neat, and I'm having a hard time with an analogy. That's something that I've been wanting to come up with for this whole video, and I'll sort of do it around park hopping. So I'll just say that park hopping in California is very, very easy. There's just the two parks. There's Disneyland and there's DCA, and they're separated maybe by 300 meters or 300 yards between the two. So we got the park hopper tickets, very happy that we did, because you can be, you could be at some spot in Disneyland and there could be rides that are closer in DCA technically than other rides elsewhere in Disneyland. So you could hop back and forth seamlessly throughout the day. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to go through security to park hop, because you go through security earlier before you sort of come to that no man's land between both of the parks. Yeah,
the only thing is because also right there, so it's DCA, Disneyland, and the kind of pathway, and then that leads you to, it's not called Disney Springs.
Downtown Disney.
Downtown Disney. And that has a few resorts. So if you go into the resort to get back into Downtown Disney, you do have to go through security for that, which makes sense.
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
That was super easy. So that is a bonus for Disneyland. But Disney World has 4 parks compared to 2.
Yes. And I can't even take a guess at the number of hotels, how that would compare. 3 on the West Coast. We saw them all in a day. We walked to all of them from Downtown Disney very easily. And Disney World, of course, it's into the teens for sure for numbers of different resorts to visit.
Yes.
So that brings me back to the analogy where I'd almost try to put it, and maybe this is too forced, but like Disney World is like seeing a concert in a huge sports arena. And it's cool because it's like, you know, you're with so many other people, you're all sort of getting hyped up about the same thing. It's so immersive, it's huge. Disneyland, by comparison, felt more like, you know, the more intimate, smaller kind of performance is how I would put it. Just, you know, okay.
I don't need that analogy, but sure, just go with it.
And I almost felt that, like I said, with just the scale of you know, comparing the two different areas, that you can just sort of start off in downtown Disney on the West Coast and be very central and walk to absolutely everything, the 2 parks, the 3 resorts. Disney World, not a chance. It is an entire world. It's completely immersive. It's the bubble, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's one of your points. Bubble versus no bubble.
Do you have a preference? Like,
no.
I like the bubble at WDW. I like sort of, even though, you know, I can't necessarily walk from my hotel to all 4 parks or anything like that, it's cool, like when you're on property, you can just stay on property. At Disneyland, we stayed just across the street from Disneyland. We still walk to everything, but it's like you feel it the second you're sort of off property. It's a little jarring.
Yeah.
It's nice area, but
I don't think I'll ever be able to choose between that wasn't a question, between the parks, but yeah, I like both.
How did you find the Lightning Lane experience at Disneyland?
I don't remember.
You're supposed to say. So a lot fewer.
There was a lot less options for Lightning Lane because we had Lightning Lane or Genie Plus like all 4 days.
And we used it to good effect, but just a lot of the classic rides don't offer it just because
like the small,
they'd have to re-engineer the whole queue and entrance.
Yeah, like Mr. Toad, Snow White, like all those kind of like small like Fantasyland rides. Like I don't think any of them had
Pirates
Lightning Lane.
doesn't. Jungle Cruise doesn't.
Yeah. So.
Where's your favorite?
But also, I felt like the wait times were not crazy. I guess.
Yeah.
Right. So it didn't seem like we were being screwed over by that. I mean, I guess we just kind of felt gypped a bit because, there wasn't a lot of rides that we wanted to participate in that used Lightning Lane.
Well, we did get Indiana Jones ones 3 of the 4 days, so that's helped.
Necessary because, that queue gets pretty long.
Where is your favorite Fantasmic?
I like them both. But I know I'm supposed to say Disneyland.
No, I'm just
but
asking you.
But I didn't get to see it this summer. I just want to see the boat with the characters. I don't really. I love that show.
Whether it's the Hollywood Studios boat or the Mark Twain at Disneyland.
It's both. It works for me both ways. The characters still look cute.
Okay, still on the parks. One of the last questions. Did you feel that history different at Disneyland? Or is that,
I didn't because I'm not interested in that. Like, I'm not, like, I mean, I guess I will say, like, some of those Fantasyland rides are, like, lame in theory, but when you think about that history piece and, like, wow, like, this was pretty much like an opening day, like, attraction, like, that makes it cooler. But I don't care that it's the park that Walt was in. Like, I mean, that sounds terrible, like, but
yeah,
that's
fair enough.
It's history and that kind of thing isn't super meaningful to me, so
I'll say it got me a little bit, like, that's probably just in my head and because I'm interested in that kind of thing in general, but thinking like, oh, that's Walt's office with the lamp on.
Yeah.
Oh, the Carnation Cafe, like that's, they ate there sometimes. The Lincoln Show and all the history behind that, like, that was really cool to me at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Which castle?
Well, obviously Walt Disney World.
There you
Like
go.
Disneyland is just like, where is it? Like the one night we were kind of standing like near the back, like the entrance essentially, and it was like there was balloons and literally like they were blocking the view. Like you could not see the castle at all. I'm like, where's the castle? So
Okay, final thing on parks. I know you're
gotta
in a
get
hurry
moving
here.
here.
No, this is you
20
watch it
minutes
or
in
you don't
here.
watch it. That's okay. Don't rush me. There's no lightning lane to this video. But DCA, what an interesting park that was. As people who are much more experienced at Walt Disney World, it was hard for me doing like the research and even watching other vlogs. I just couldn't get a sense of what it would actually feel like or be like. And after going there, I love DCA. I'll throw that out there. To me, I think the closest comparison for sure would be Hollywood Studios.
yeah.
Like, there's nothing that feels like Animal Kingdom in Disneyland.
No.
There's really nothing that feels much like Epcot, although, like,
No.
you have Test Track, the attraction sort of ported over at Radiator Springs Racers and Cars Land. And I guess in DCA they have some festival booths that they do around the World of Color, like where that show happens.
Like the food and wine essentially.
Yeah, but I like between the thing that I love the most about Hollywood Studios is Galaxy's Edge, and it's like you still have that in Disneyland itself. Galaxy's Edge is there, so the overall like sort of old Hollywood, old California vibe of DCA compared to Hollywood Studios, I think I'd have to give it to DCA.
Yeah.
But I love Hollywood Studios too, so it's not like Okay, we've already touched on this one, so we can actually skip hotels because we've talked about just there's many more hotels in WDW. It's a huge just the scale of the operation there is massive.
Yeah.
So just a few random things to close us out.
Random. Yes. So the first point on our list is ride shutdowns at Disneyland. That seemed to be so common. Like, they didn't often last a long time. The only time that we really got screwed out of a ride for an entire day was Big Thunder Mountain, and I think you might have squeaked on at the end of the day.
I don't
can't
think
remember,
that day,
or I don't know if it ever came.
I rode it quite a lot some of the other days.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's just because it's so old and maybe like they really need to maintain. Like, I think I've heard somebody say they need to shut that park down for like a few days and just like work on everything. I don't really know, but that did seem to be really common, like almost laughably common. It's like, oh, it's down again. Oh, it's down. Oh, that one's down now.
So yeah, give the edge to WDW there.
Yeah.
Weather, at least in the summer, so that's our only sampling. We were in California in July, in Florida in August.
Don't go to Florida in August.
Yeah.
Or July or the summer. I'm not so sure. Don't go to Florida when it is 1,000,000 degrees because you will die.
Yeah. Anaheim is a few miles in from the ocean, but it's still not that hot in the summer in that part of California.
It was hot, but it was not humid.
Yeah.
Like, I did feel like there were, like, I was expecting it to not be as hot, but there were still some days, like, I remember standing in that Monsters, Inc. line for the ride, and I was like, holy frick, like, I'm too hot right now. But anyways.
No rain. Very rare to have rain in California, so that's something
too.
too.
A perk.
And we talked about sort of the bubble versus no bubble thing. I thought of another treat though, so it's just circling back on our food category topic. Your pickle.
Oh yeah, that was good. Do they have pickles at Walt Disney World? I guess no. I guess it's not as common. But the pickle, that's a good snack for me because often like I love chocolate and I love candy, but like I don't actually eat a lot of that. Like in some ways I'd rather reach for like salami and cheese, like the more savory snacks that like fill you up more. So I liked pickles at Disneyland. And thanks Evie for supporting me and getting a pickle at Disneyland.
So there you go. Like I said, we're not picking a favorite. I don't think you could, or that's not the point. Like,
No.
I'd be so thrilled to return to either, and I'm sure we're gonna be back at both plenty more times throughout the years ahead.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for indulging us. I've always loved watching when other people do these style of videos. I would love if you did have any questions or anything that you're curious about. I pledge to do my best to try to answer it in comments. So ask us anything on this topic of comparing the two parks.
Yeah, and if you have been to both and you have a comparison point yourself that we did not mention, please let us know because we'd love to hear your input.
I really would.
Yeah.
Thank you. So
which one? You going first?
Sure. 17.
Let's see what we got.
Oh, gonna try to get the.
Oh, is it Disney? Oh, it's Shanghai. Okay. I got mine out. Who is it? Is that Cinderella?
It's Cinderella. That looks like quite a beautiful pin.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, damn.
Damn, girl.
With the carriage and fireworks?
Yeah.
Limited release?
Wow.
Wow.
That's really something.
I wonder when that's from, but we won't bother to take it off the back card because we'll let you know when we do our Magic Launch Bay recap. Okay, so I don't know what this is, but oh, I thought it was Olymel. It's Donald Duck in a spacesuit with a net. What the heck? It's so cute. He's catching stars and his outfit's glittery, but what the heck's happening?
Yeah.
And he's kind of like stained glass.
Was not expecting to see that. That is really cute, isn't it?
Very random and very cute. So yeah, awesome. Well, I guess that's a wrap on this video. So
yeah, we already did the comment below. That's the end. You know?
So
we'll see you in our next video. Thanks for watching.